This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
It is a brand new day here on the Meltdown, and by that I mean it's the same day as what we just had, but ties into the title of today's show. Look, we had let's pull back the curtain, okay?
Let's do it.
Had a massive power failure here in the building.
It was kind of scary.
It was eerie. You jumped.
Yeah.
You were nervous, and I was worried you'd hurt your toe in the darkness, and I was going to have to find a flashlight. And I was worried that we had done so much talking about zombies that the actual apocalypse had hit.
Yeah, it was a little unsettling. I
Yeah.
don't know, something about that was like a little spooky.
Yeah. Nick says Beatles did not like you talking bad about them. Look, if you're just joining us here and you're a regular viewer, there is a part 1 that you probably need to watch before watching this, but this is part 2 of today's show. We are going to finish strong. We do not give up on Meltdonia because Meltdonia does not give up on us. So
Amen.
we are happy to be here back again as we finish out our Beatles discussion, because maybe that was an omen for how big of an experiment this is, because they're going to release 4 Beatles movies, potentially all in the same day. They're calling it a bingeable event.
Yeah.
It can't be bingeable if you stagger the release. It's got to be, if it's bingeable, you got to have it all out in the same day.
I'm curious too, does that mean that one's going to come out like the first showing will be 9 a.m. and then you can just.
Yeah, I bet you they all come out on a Thursday night at like 7, and you get to choose which one you're going to go see first.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know if you have to see them in a specific order for it all to make sense, but they're going to have 4 Beatles movies, each focused on a different member of the band, with the cast cross-pollinating and all.
They're going to cross over.
Oh, yeah.
So here's my question. Why do they not just do one full movie? What is the benefit in separating this?
Why would we make one movie where we're going to leave out a bunch of stuff about the Beatles that everyone's going to hate, when we can make 4 movies, which, by the way, if they all do well,
It's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money. Because if, and also, you know this, E.G., if on social media you can convince people that they are a part of history, an event,
Mm-hmm.
an experience, that they will line up and they will go buy their tickets and they will show up and they will be like, hey, everybody, I'm going to see the greatest,
Yeah,
event of our time
bingeable.
cinematically. So
Yeah, that's a great point. That's interesting because I feel like you're going to get a lot of people that I'm sure there'll be marketing challenges for people to, go watch all 4. And I'm also curious too, from like a review standpoint, which one will be the one that people, agree with that wasn't the best one, or like
Yeah.
this one felt like, McCartney got more effort put in than Ringo, that kind of thing.
Harris Dickinson is playing John Lennon. Tyler, do you remember Harris Dickinson from this past year and what he was in?
Yes, he was in Baby Girl.
That is correct.
And also he was in my X-Men fantasy casting. I cast him as who did I cast him as? Iceman?
I think it was Iceman, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still think he could play a good Bobby Drake.
probably so. We are getting a member of the Fantastic Four in here, in Joseph Quinn, who is playing George Harrison. Paul Mescal is playing Paul McCartney. You may know him from Gladiator 2. And Barry Keoghan is playing Ringo Starr.
My best friend's name is McCartney after the Beatles,
Oh, really?
and they had a dog named Ringo. Yep. I'm actually going to her bachelorette party this weekend.
Well, please ask about the 4-film Beatles event and whether or not there's some excitement there.
I will. I'll ask her. McCartney?
Hey, real quick question.
Yeah. Whoa. Are you going to the Paul McCartney movie? No.
It's her wedding?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's her bachelorette trip,
her bachelorette trip.
and then her wedding's in June.
Wait for the wedding to ask.
Okay.
When she's walking down the aisle, start screaming it from up.
Okay.
front.
Yes, I will. I will ask her parents because I'm assuming that they're probably way more invested. Is there a song called Penny Lane?
You're asking a non-Beatles fan a Beatles
I believe it's
question.
Lane, McCartney Lane.
Um,
I love her.
I don't know. I'm thinking of Abbey Road right now. I'm thinking of all the different things. I don't know.
Anyways.
I'm so sorry.
McCartney Lane.
If it's Beatles trivia night, the person you need in your life,
Spud?
it's Spud.
Yeah.
I actually called Spud today to ask him about this. And
What'd
he
he
said,
say?
please, will this thing be streaming? And I'm like, well, I mean, eventually. He's like, I'm going to be in the nursing home and I'm going to want something to watch.
Spud will not be in the nursing home by then.
Because he was like, oh, does this come out next month? And I'm like, no, Spud, this comes out in 2028. He's like, oh, well, by then I will be in the nursing home. Please wheel it in and watch it with me.
He's still sharp as a
Flexible.
tack.
Well, you say that, but you also, on the other hand, are like, man, I'm about to be 27. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's true. Me at 27's probably a lot different.
That's true.
A lot of people. But I got our super source fixed, and you can see both of our lovely faces again.
That's what everybody wants.
Man, that weird storm came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Power surge or something.
it's just a power surge. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again, but if it does, this will be the last time you see us today. We will not do a third stream, but if that happens, just you know what? Spend your time over at MyBookie at mybookie.ag, where you can use promo code next round. They got a great deal going on right now, where you can get a bonus chip to the casino, $10 casino chip there at mybookie.ag. Their sign up bonus, 50% deposit bonus, up to $1,000 over at mybookie.ag. Just make sure you use that promo code next round, all one word. So, Beatles information is out there. I feel like it's a very interesting experiment, and I think, like, initially, it sounds like an awful idea. But I think it may work if theaters still exist in 2028.
Oh God.
I'm not kidding. Theaters may not exist in
That's true.
2028.
The way it's going. But
Dang.
I did see someone in the chat say that it should be like a multiverse with these movies, and it just made me remember my little terrible joke that I told you off camera, and that each of these Beatles movies should have a post-credit scene where Yoko Ono is revealed like Thanos.
Yes. I remember telling you that won't work, and you're like, you kind of looked at me weird, but it's the reason it won't work is because they release them all on the same day. So if you see a post-credit scene for Yoko Ono, it would have to be in every movie, I guess. But that would make sense, I guess, if they did it that way. But who knows what order people are going to see these in?
I know.
It's a crazy thing, but they're going to try it in 2028. They almost did this with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I'm a big Halloween fan, which is why I bring it up. They wanted to release those movies in the same month.
No.
But they weren't going to be the same. This
Yeah.
was pre-pandemic. But the goal was, if we release them in the same month, then we can make the entire trilogy, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, all take place on the same night
Oh, I like
and
that.
space it out to where it all takes place on Halloween night. Because Michael Myers, right, he's kind of gimmicky in the sense that he has to do his business on Halloween night. And so you have to have Halloween night be a setting, and that's the way they were going to do it. But the pandemic got involved, and then Halloween Ends became one of the worst movies of all time. It's now time to get to some bits of tid. We're not going to let any sort of power failure keep us from getting our
not.
tidbits. Let's see those tids on display as you put out your bits for the world to see, Tyler.
I'm going to be displaying some bits for you today. First off, little glimpse of a tid. It's the Chainsaw Man release date. Now, this movie, Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc, made my most anticipated movies of 2025, but we didn't have a release date at the time. And Sony Pictures has announced that they, in collaboration with Studio Mappa, they will be bringing Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc, to American theaters October 29th. I think this is a fantastic release date given the horror themes of the Chainsaw Man franchise. So the proximity to Halloween is absolutely fantastic. Now, in Japan, it's going to be released in September on the 19th, and it was previously thought that it would take at least another 3 months to see a release in US theaters. But in my opinion, this closeness in release dates for the Japan and US releases really shows that Mappa cares about and values their international audience. Chainsaw Man is arguably a bigger success here in America than it is in Japan. There was word of it potentially being canceled because of not selling enough merchandise and enough copies of DVDs over in Japan. But over here, the premiere of Chainsaw Man actually broke the Crunchyroll streamers. It was a massive event, and that's why I think Mappa's really choosing to value the international audience, because they are also financiers of the Chainsaw Man animation and movies.
I've seen a lot of the art style replicated on the internet, especially recently.
Oh, yeah,
Things
yeah.
in the things in the same aura. And so visually, it stands out for sure when I'm scrolling and see something like that, including your AI pictures that
Yeah.
ended up producing there with the monkey and Mr. Wang's there. So that was a
And
lot of fun.
also the Meltdown studio.
That is correct. Hashtag Wang Gang. All right. Any other tids a bit
Yes, I've got
or
2 more
bits of
little
tid?
little bits of tid. This is full tid this time. We've got a casting announcement for the upcoming Superman movie. Reportedly, Bradley Cooper will be playing Jor-El, Superman's dad.
I am super excited about this. I hope it's legit. I hope it pans out because I think that's perfect casting. I really like Bradley Cooper as an actor. His last movie, Maestro, was a giant miss. He thought it was going to be the thing that sort of cemented him with a statue at the Oscars. Didn't work out. I still think A Star is Born from 2018 is fantastic, but Bradley Cooper is one of my favorite actors working today, and I certainly hope that this casting plays out as well as I think it's going to.
I think it'll play out well. There was a very recent test screening of Superman, and more news has been leaking from it, even though people who are attending these things aren't supposed to say anything about it. But it's unclear how big of a role Jor-El will play in the story, but it's reported he pops up. Now, James Gunn has also stated repeatedly that this Superman movie will not be an origin story. And typically, we see Jor-El in the very beginnings of Superman stories, sending Clark off to Earth or Kal-El rather.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking we might not see the destruction of Krypton in this movie because James Gunn keeps saying it's not an origin story. But we've seen some icy landscapes in the footage that's already been released. So Fortress of Solitude is the likely place to see him,
Yeah.
maybe as a hologram of some sort.
Yeah.
But that will be reportedly how we see Bradley Cooper.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I think that's
So
good.
you like it? Chat, what do you guys think about Bradley Cooper in Superman as Superman's dad?
Obviously, that role most associated with Marlon Brando.
Mhm.
Now, you did get Russell Crowe playing that role in the Man of Steel movie.
Yes.
And did Russell Crowe? I think he popped back up in Batman v Superman or Justice League, one of the two. I
He
think it was
could
Batman
have,
v
but
Superman.
those movies are so forgettable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't tell you if he did or not.
But, you know, and I actually thought the stuff on Krypton was probably some of the best stuff of Man of Steel, if I had to be completely honest. The opening there, but uh, I really associate Marlon Brando with the role. Who was it that we had? It was Brian Pavlik who said Marlon Brando is a very overrated actor.
He did say
And I
that.
mean, he's very highly rated. I guess that immediately makes him overrated in a sense because every working actor brings up Marlon Brando as an inspiration to become a better actor. So, maybe that's the case, but he's not a big fan. But he's absolutely iconic in that role. Any other bits of Tid?
Final bit of Tid. This one I saw last night and I just had to do a double take. I had to clear my eyes, make sure I wasn't looking at an early April Fool's joke. I don't think I am. Because this movie is real and this person is getting a lot of work. Sydney Sweeney is reportedly in final talks with Legendary Pictures to star in a Gundam movie.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. Now Gundam is an anime that is centered around giant robots fighting. It's set in a sort of militaristic universe where human colonies fight for independence on Earth. And instead of having soldiers fight each other or even having sort of dogfights with spaceships, you fight in giant mech suits called mobile suits, the Gundams. And this originally started off as an animated series in 1979 and quickly grew in popularity because of the wide array of merchandise for this movie. Mainly model kits. People love going crazy on the Gunpla kits, which are these buildable robot kits that range in difficulty, and you can customize them, paint them, and display them.
Hmm.
And that's why it is just become such a big IP. Now, plot and character details are currently kept under wraps, but I personally believe that out of all the live action anime adaptations we've been thrown over the years, this one has a really good chance to succeed. I think anime is more popular compared to when previous works were adapted. Most notably, Dragon Ball Z became Dragon Ball Evolution, one of the worst rated movies of all time. The
Snow White just passed it, I believe, on IMDb.
I probably. Uh, recently we had the Cowboy Bebop adaptation for Netflix, which was panned as well. But I think Gundam's a good choice of IP, especially compared to other mecha. Like I'm mainly an Evangelion fan, and Michael Bay was actually set to direct an adaptation of Evangelion around 2010 or so. This would have been coming right off of Transformers. I don't think that would have worked at all because Evangelion becomes less and less about the robots fighting as you get deeper into it and more about the actual characters and their mental states. And Michael Bay is just not a good fit for that. But Gundam is a great franchise to adapt for American audiences because of its political themes and just the overall military world it occupies. You have these different factions fighting for resources, deciding how these weapons of mass destruction, we'll call them, can be used in war and how they're allowed to be used, who decides what the rules are around them. So, a lot of political themes. And I think if this franchise is shown love by the filmmakers and the crew and made a little bit more mature, not in the Deadpool drop an F bomb every 5 seconds way, but in the we're not going to treat the audience like toddlers. We're going to hit you with the hard hitting political themes that Gundam fans have come to know and love. I think this will be a smashing success as far as anime adaptations go.
We shall see for sure because, you know, American audiences can be tricky for sure. They can be tricky when it comes to what they'll accept, what they want, what they'll consider mainstream, what they consider niche. So we'll see how that all plays out. But I appreciate all of Tyler's tidbits being put out there on display for us here in the Meltdown studio, the Culver studio here on the Meltdown channel. That's going to do it for us today. We are awaiting maybe another power failure here very soon. So we are going to bid you adieu as I'm so sorry, EG. There's certain times I say things and EG shoots me a look like, what are you doing? You're making an ass of yourself.
And then sometimes me and EG look at each other to say, is that what he just said?
Yeah,
Did we both hear that?
We do that.
That is also correct. Or if I get hurt, neither one of you render aid. That is going to do it
That
for
is also
us.
true.
Yeah, I can't argue with it. I can't
Thank you.
argue with it.
And then question how hurt I really am as I am bleeding from my orifices.
Oh,
Okay,
it is. Sorry,
that's it.
Sorry.
Can I end the show? I don't know. Do
Yeah,
you
I
guys
I
want
think
to just
you
stick
missed
around?
an eye and orifices.
I think I did
Orifices?
too, but
I didn't think a knee was an orifice.
You're right about that too, EG.
would one of you guys like to end the show?
I would love to. Do y'all have the floor?
Yeah.
Check us out tomorrow. We'll be here. Come hang out with us. Stop the
doing
Meltdown.
anything.
Also, go to mybookie.com and
MyBookie.ag.
yeah, I heard it as I said it.
This is why you're in that seat and I'm in this seat. This is why I'm in the big boy chair. Okay. This is why they let me have the box
This
cutter.
is why he makes the thing.
It's
Thank
basically
you.
my name too.
Yeah. Would you like to try one more time?
No, you got it.
Okay.
Land
That's
the
going to
ship.
do it.
I mean, land the plane.
Thank you so much for being here, proud Meltdonia. We'll see you again very soon, whether it's here or at some random Chinese buffet. We'll catch up with you very soon. And we hope you join us again, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. I think they're pumping in hallucinogenics here into the studio. Good day, sir.